Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Listen with Vobes. I'm Richard Vobes, and we're about to do another of our readings. We are reading, of course, the book Charm of the Road by James John Hissey. I always have to think because it's so easy to get mixed up with John James or James John. But anyway, not James Joyce. James John Hissey, Charm of the Road. Published around about 1910, the journey that he took probably a year before, and hello to the lovely Julia, who is out there. I've got my tweed jacket on, which is a little bit big for me, I admit, but it's a little chilly up in the studio, although I'm not really in the studio, technically, of course. We are in the car, journeying with John James Hissey, James John Hissey. See how easy it is to get it all completely mixed up and wrong and back to front? It's very easy. So now I have, as ever, I have the let's have a look over here. I've got the maps that we're going to use. We've got Google Maps and the side-by-side maps, which have yet to, I can't remember where we are because he started to head over to Wales, I think, in the last. So as soon as we get there, we will know exactly what we do. But I will just, because last time I think I copied the link and I put the link into the description. And also, that's the side-by-side ones. I'm sure you can find the Google map very easily yourself. Also, last time, people were talking in the chat. They came along, and I didn't notice at all because I think it's something called Top Chat. Top Chat, he's the leader of the gang. So this time I've made sure I've got it on live chat, so I hope I do get to see you if you arrive, and if you do come along and watch, then do say hello.
Hello.
Hello? Who's that?
Oh, that's me.
Who's that? Julia's laughing out there in the thingy. Right, now, so the last thing was that they decided that they would go to North Wales, I think, because they thought just for a bit of a laugh. So as far as I'm aware, they're in Hertfordshire somewhere. And then they suddenly go,
Do you know what? We're going to go to Wales.
Go to Wales?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's North Wales that they're going to go to. Anyway, oh yes, they got to Blueberry. That's right. B-L-E-W B-R-U-R 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 B-R-U-Y. Anyway, so after Blueberry, the first village we noted on our way, or to be exact, a little to the left of our road, was East Hendred. East Hendred. A village with a ruined monastery and much charm and antiquarian history. Let's put that in and see where we get our starting point, shall we? East Hendred. So we'll come over here and see if that comes up in this. Now, the maps that I'm going to use, you'll see, if you come down here, yes, I'm going to use the 1-inch map, I think. Let's put in here, type in here, East Hend. How is he spelling it? H-E-N-D? H-E-N-D. Come on, where is the D? What have I written? Oh, here it is. Look, East Hendred. Vale of the White Horse. And there it is. But that's not the map. That's an overview map. Now, I'm going to go up to the top, and you'll see where it says georeference maps, just off the screen here, but at the top. If you press georeference maps, you'll get the full picture, and that's the default map that comes in, which sometimes can be quite good actually. But if you go down, where is it here? Which is just on here. That's the outline. If you come down here to, I think it's this one, 6-inch, 1915. It's either that one or the 25-inch. I forget which is the best. Let's try that one. Yeah, that one's a good one. And let me just have a look at the other one. Yeah, I think the one I just did was the better one. Come back up here. Here it is. So then we can get to see a little bit more detail. So we don't need those, so we can close those off. And so the road he's going, he said just off the left of the road. So he's obviously going along this road here like that. And he turns left down here. And we can see, look, there's a lot of orchards and things. Hendred House. And he refers to a ruin, does he not? Which must be somewhere around here, Park College. And if we go back to side by side, which is at the top, we can follow both sides of it. So the ruin must be here. I don't know how much we can see. Let's get rid of these again. These keep popping up. Now, Julia, no doubt, will quickly have a look and see if there's a Hendred House ruin. There must be. The Sparks Farm. Look at this. Sparks Farm used to be here. There's the church. But if we go over to... let's go over to... Did we say it was East Hendred? Hendred, which is near Wantage, which sounds about right. Here we go. So we was travelling on the 417. Let's have a look on the map. Hendred Farm Huts. This is what it looks like today. St Mary's Church, I think, is somewhere down here. And I don't know where. I can't see any ruins, but let's just come down to the church. Where's the church? St Mary's Church is usually, the centre of the village, isn't it? So there's St Mary's Church. It's a bit of a modern church. Interesting. That looks nice. Nice old farm building there. And look at that lovely place. Anyway, so that's where we're starting, and that's where we're heading off to begin with. So let's come out of there and get back to our story and see where it is. So, a village with a ruined monastery and much charm and antiquarian interest. Here is Hendred House with a curiously massive private chapel attached, in which chapel it is claimed that the services of the Roman Catholic Church have been performed uninterruptedly for 6 eventful centuries, and also during which long period the sacred light before the altar has burned continuously. Hello to Sean James Cameron. Nice to see you in your car again. Yes, chugging along. Absolutely. See how far he gets. He's coming over to Wales, so it'll be in your country soon, Sean. So yes, it's been going for 6 long years. Hendred House is the home of the Eystons, or Eastons, Eystons, I don't know how to pronounce that, Eystons, a family devoted to the ancient faith and directly descended from Sir Thomas More and his brother, Sir Bobby Less. Though it makes a pretty tradition, I cannot understand how the offices of the Roman Catholic Church could have been uninterruptedly performed in the chapel, or how the sacred light before the altar could always have been kept burning, even granting the possibility that the chapel escaped the fury of the Puritan fanatics during the Cromwellian days, for it's a matter of history that when the army of the Prince of Orange passed nearby, a portion of his troops invaded East Hendred and pillared the chapel, supping out of the chalice and taking away some of the church stuff, of which latter they made a bonfire. It is hardly probable but these rough soldiers would have allowed the sacred light to remain burning in the chapel they desecrated. Well, maybe they could say that they used the sacred light to set up the bonfire, and then once they departed, someone else came back and put on the sacred light again. Who knows? Passing next through a pleasant stretch of country, we arrive at the ancient town of Wantage. Now, Wantage, yes. It's going to be a bit more about Wantage, but let's just get that onto our map, because I can tell you a little bit about Wantage. Not a lot, nothing terribly exciting about Wantage, but let's... are we looking at this? Let's just get this all organised. So that's there. So West Hendred, there's another little one. So presumably he's still carrying on that road, is he? Just looking for Wantage here. Charlton. It must be north. Where is Wantage? It says it was near to Wantage. Trouble is, it gets very difficult to read the map as you go out. So I'm going to have to type it in. Wantage. In the Vale of the White Horse. Well, I typed it in and nothing happened. Let's type it in again, see if it'll go there. Wantage. Why won't you go, you swine? Oh, okay. It's actually there. It's actually there. But where is Wantage? That must be one. Oh no, that's. Oh, here we go. See, confused because Charlton is written in bigger letters, and yet that's a tinier place than Wantage. Sometimes these maps are a bit confusing. Now let's go in here because this market square we'll have a look at. I have performed there. In this area, and I used to park. There's a Sainsbury's or something down here, and I used to park in the car park, which is probably that area there. So what did I used to perform there? It was during the winter Christmas time, and they would have a winter market in the market square, and they would have performers, and they would have, I think they had a little roundabout and a few rides and things and market people and what have you. And I would be there with my unicycle, my stilt walking, mime and various silly gags. My big ball that I used to stand on. So let's go and put that in here and actually have a look at it. It's a very lovely market square, actually. Let's come in. Now I just got to find it on this map. Probably easier to look this way. Oh, that's no easier. Wantage. Here we go. And here is the market square now, and a little bit different to the map. If we have a look at the map there, look, big area. But let's just put our fella down on the ground, and you'll see all this area covered in various things. And I think that is King Alfred. I think he has a connection, just like in Winchester, if I remember rightly. You can't see his face. Bloody cheek. Look at that. That would be Google. I think they have blurred his face. And there's no reason to blur his face because he is actually a Saxon king. Let's go around here just to show you a bit more. We'll come down this side and see. Do you see what I mean? It's sort of Victorian and Georgian. Look at these Georgian buildings, very well-to-do, probably farming sheep and stuff like that. I used to perform. We're not getting much of the story done, I grant you, but I used to perform. There he is. I used to perform in there. And in fact, because it was all very at night time when I used to see it. There he is with his beard and everything else. All good fun. Anyway. And all these cars were cleared out. But nice build. Look at that. Lovely. Bit of herringbone going on in there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful buildings. Anyway, so that's Wantage. Let's see what he says about it. Julia's got some pictures here that we should have a look at. Let's just have a look at what she's showing me. Oh, okay, so she's showing me the same. Oh, that's a nice picture of Wantage. And there he is. Oh, that's a good one. Brilliant. King Alfred, much better quality. Thank you very much. Lovely Julia working in the background there. Grand. Okay, so what does he say about it then? Passing through Wantage. I find that the road that we traversed from Blueberry to Wantage is marked on my map Port Way, and that another and higher road to the south running along the top of the downs in curving parallel to it is marked Icknield Way, locally called the Ridgeway. Of the ancient Icknield Way that led right across England from Suffolk to the east to Exeter in the west, I know the story of the Portway. I know nothing indeed. I was unaware of the existence of such a road until I discovered it so plainly marked on my Ordnance Survey map, nor could I find any allusion to it in any reference book in my little library. Possibly I might learn all about it by going to the British Museum and consulting some dusty tome there, and then I might write upon the matter, professing a little knowledge. I do not possess, but I prefer honesty, so that I confess my ignorance about this. There are some people who appear to know everything. I do not possess to be one of them. People who possess a deadly desire to instruct others to air their superior knowledge. I recently heard of a self-made man, the more honour to him for that, who, when addressing a political meeting in his village, proud to display his learning, quoted the Latin phrase saying, "Fiat justica ruant culeum," I don't know what that means, which, for the benefit of his unenlightened listeners, he translated thus: "Let justice be done through the ceiling fall." Although the ceiling fall. Anyway, I'm not quite sure what all that was about, but there you are. Let me just clear something on the screen there that was in the way. Right. The ancient town of Wantage did not look so ancient as we expected. It looks, if I may be allowed the expression, middle-aged, not old. Well, we are 100 years on from when he went ravaging around, so it does look a little bit older to us. It has a clean and neat appearance. Its streets were almost deserted when we were there, and the few people we saw loitering about seemed to be contentedly doing nothing. A quiet old town, this Wantage of yours, we ventured to remark to one of its inhabitants, who was lazily watching our car as we pulled up to inspect the fine statue of King Alfred. There he is. He's just exactly there. So that was not a waste of time indeed. That adorns, or is supposed to adorn, its marketplace. What I don't know what it means is it's supposed to adorn. It does adorn it, doesn't it? There it is. Been there for 100 years. I write fine statue because I am told it is considered so, but personally I do not admire it. Oh dear, he doesn't. I mean, it's weathered now. Maybe it was because it was too new. I don't know when it went up. That is the problem, isn't it? We can look at things with different eyes. When they go up, they look new and boring to us. But 100 years of winter weathering, and suddenly it will make a difference. You know. Julia says the first two images were the most of the same shot decades apart. Oh, right. Okay, I won't waste your time, you cheeky swine, says the lovely Julia. Jane and Meg, hello to you. Lovely to see you. Thanks for popping by. So yes, just to go back to Julia's thing. So these are a decade apart. So, yes, just have a look at those cars. And then, so when is that? That looks 70s to me, looking at those cars. And then that looks, blimey, that looks more than a decade. That looks like several decades. That looks like today, pretty much. And the previous one, can I go back? There it is. Look, we can switch between the two. That looks like the 1970s. What's happened? Hang on, let's just get our bearings. That building is there. That building is there. And that building, yeah. Not much has changed in terms of the buildings. But look at that. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Brilliant. Brilliant. I hadn't noticed that. Thank you, Julia. Anyway, he doesn't like the statue. I write fine statue. Personally, I do not admire it. I have not yet acquired the easy art, the guidebook in hand, of admiring anything to order because others do. The statue represents King Alfred meekly standing with a battle axe in one hand and a charter in the other. Now, meekness is not a virtue I associate with that king or his times. To my mind, the figure lacks inspiration and vigour. To satisfy me, a statue needs the carved stone or the cast bronze to live, not merely to be chiselled or cast into human shape. I crave, he says, for the stone that breathes and struggles, the bronze that seems to speak. The inanimate made animate. Those rare craftsmen, the monkish sculptor, I thought he said monkey sculptors then, the monkish sculptors gave us this, as witness the grinning demons and weird animals unknown to natural history of their grotesque gargoyles that one and all verily look as though they might drop down from their places on the church walls and towers where they have long so been, and forthwith roam around the land. I do know what he means. some of these older statues did have a little bit more an animation in them. That's true. The modern statue of King Alfred stands, we are informed, on the spot where the ancient market cross stood, which latter was erected in 1580. Report says, probably with truth, this was destroyed by the parliamentarian soldiers under Waller. It appears to have been an exceptionally fine cross, having superstitions, images graven thereon. It also follows that the Puritans made short work of it, not even allowing the harmless steps to remain. I was given to understand by a lazy-looking inhabitant that I addressed that though the town was quiet enough just then, it was all bustle and life on market day. "You should have seen it then," he said. "Why, you would fancy you were in London town." It was pleasant to find so much local pride existing, though the crowd of burly sun-tanned farmers, the country conveyances, and the cattle one finds in a busy market town upon market day is about as unlike a London crowd as a crowd can be. I wonder why rural folk so generally call London town. "Oh, London town, we'll go to London town." You never have a frown in London town. You might see a clown in London town, but that's about it. Pound for pound in London town you will smile. Several times, too, when asking if I were in such and such a village, I have been informed, "You be in the town." Emphasis being on the last word. Town. You'll be in the town. Is this Sir Aylesbury? Yes, you'll be in the town. You'll be in the town. Town is where you'll be. But for the ancient accident of King Alfred being born in old ship nip nap cozy, but for the accident, read the words just written on the page, it makes life so much easier. Okay. But for the accident of King Alfred being born of old in the little town, you be up the town of the town, I doubt if the name of Wantage would have been known out of the county. It has had fame thrust upon it, nor, I imagine, Stratford-on-Avon, though a larger place, be a name familiar throughout the English-speaking world, but for the fact that Shakespeare came to the world there. Whoever would have heard of sleepy Somersby, but that it was Tennyson's birthplace. Such is the power of personality. Did anyone know about that? Somersby. I have been to Somersby, in the town. You'll be in that town of Somersby. An artist once showed me a lovely little valley in the North Country. Am I over-modulating, by the way? I am raising my voice somewhat. I lost my place now. Sorry about that. An artist once showed me a lovely little valley in the North Country, a valley as beautiful as grey rocks, waving, many tinted woods, a clear water river tumbling and foaming over its boulder-strewn bed, and crossed by many an ancient bridge, with a background of shapely hills. Oh, nice, shapely hills. Which could make a valley. A valley he had worked on and in for years, and yet had not exhausted its beauties. Indeed, he confessed to me that he had kept house and brought up a family upon the pictures that he had painted there. When I asked him how it was that such a lovely valley had not got into the guidebooks and had consequently escaped the attentions of the sightseeing tourist, he briefly replied, "I suppose because no one of any importance has been born there, and happily no poet to sing its praises." There are still some beauty spots. There are still some beauty spots in England that the guidebook compiler has yet to discover and has not discovered, and I have no intention by even an indirect hint to help him, perchance, to discover these places and spoil them. Better that this book remain unwritten than to do this. Although, having said that, he did go to Wantage and showed everybody. Beyond Wantage, We drove into a level country of hedge-rowed fields and lost ourselves in a triangle of by-roads and indirect lanes that appear to lead nowhere in particular. At last, however, we turned up at Hissey Park. You're in the town, you are. You're in the town of Hissey Park. Hissey Park. P-U-S-E-Y Park. Shall we find out what that looks like? Hissey Park. Hissey Park. Hissey Park. So that's all that nonsense. I've lost... let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. And there's the market square. And let us put in Hissey Park into that. P-U-P-U-S-E-Y. Hissey Lane. Hissey Place. Hissey Farm. Park. Doesn't seem to want to come up. Hissey Park. Oh, Parkway. Hissey Park. Scottish Borders. That's obviously not it. Otherwise, he's gone a very long way. We're getting nowhere with this. Hissey Park. Okay, it's not on that one. Let us have a look. No, let's get rid of that. Go back, get rid of that. Thank you. Come over here. I thought I got rid of these. Right, let's get out of this. There it is. And that's Wantage. Let's put in Hissey Park. Anybody got any version on Hissey Park? Oh, that's not how you spell it for one thing. P-U-S-E-Y, isn't it? Hissey Park, near Farringdon. Near Oxford. Hissey. Let's just see where that takes us. See, look, that's taken us miles away. Hissey Park. No. Let's go back. Hissey Park. Hissey Lane, maybe. Oh, that's in Oxford. Okay, let's just try Hissey then and see if that's any better. He's near Wantage, Abingdon. Well, Wantage is... oh, Hissey, here we go. Where's Wantage? Wantage, Hissey. So this is where he is. Okay. Somewhere here. Let's have a look on the old... And there's All Saints Church. Is he going to go to the church, I wonder? Oh, the excitement mounts, doesn't it? Let's just move a bit more of the screen there. Brilliant. Okay. The manor of Hissey, if past history is to be relied on, was bestowed upon the family by the name of King Canute, and is held by tenure of a horn, a large ox horn mounted in silver and having a band around it inscribed, I, King Canute, give William Hissey thy horn to hold by thy Lund. I believe that certain antiquities have been bold enough to dispute the genuineness of the horn, believing it to be a copy of the original one, not the history of a curious gift of the manor, which is a different thing, apparently. But then there are always some hard-headed and hard-hearted antiquities who love disputing purely, it seems to me, for the pleasure of doing so. However, in 1681, during a lawsuit for recovery of the manor brought by Charles Pusey in the Court of Chancery before Lord Chancellor Jeffreys, the horn was produced in court and after careful examination was admitted and proved to be the identical horn by which, as a charter, King Canute had conveyed the manor of Hissey 700 years before. Truly, that was a less critical age than this. Still, the horn was pronounced as genuine by the Court of Chancery then. At least, if the horn be a forgery, it is a very ancient one, and respectable on that account, if a forgery, of course, can ever be respectable. The story of the grant of the manor is both curious and picturesque, and the genuineness of the horn is not improbable. Near to Hissey, within 2 miles, in fact, is Cherbury Camp, and tradition asserts that Canute had a palace there. Let's see if we can find Cherbury Camp. Cherbury. So there's Hissey. Cherbury Camp. Now, When he says close by, we have no idea what that means. Does he mean miles away? Cherbury Camp. We'll have to do a search. Cherbury Camp. Cherbury Camp. Oh, here it is. And there are some standing stones. Look at that. Now, is there any pictures? Has anybody done any pictures? Or are they trees? Oh, no, they're trees. I beg your pardon. I thought there was a series of standing stones, but they're not. Cherbury Camp. Oh, you can't see it. I beg your pardon. There it is. Cherbury Camp. There it is. It's like obviously a ringed Iron Age hill fort type thing. Can we have a look at it in 3D? Maybe we can. Maybe we can't. Hang on. Which one? No, not that one, you fathead. Which one turns it round? Oh, there we go. So it's all pretty flat up there, but so anyway, some sort of Iron Age hill fort, I imagine. But what is he going to say to that? Now let's see if we can find it on here. Go. Oh, what's all this bloody stuff come up? Cherbury Camp. See if that will. Doesn't seem to like it. I don't know where you're going. Cherbury Camp. So that's at Charlton. So where is Cherbury Camp? Hang on, we've got to find Wantage again. Wantage. So is that, yeah, so it's kind of northeast, northwest. Northwest. So we're going to go northwest somewhere. Goosey Green. Look, Goosey Green. What a lovely name. Goosey Green, Goosey Green. Anyway, it's somewhere around there. It doesn't matter. Let's carry on with the reading, otherwise we'll never get through it. Okay, sorry about that little diversion. It comes to course, whatever it's Cherbury. What was it called? A tradition asserts that he had a palace there. And though tradition is often wrong, yet it is sometimes right. The history of the gift of land close by Canute, though it proves nothing, yet lends an air to the probability of his having a palace at Cherbury. However, all certainty in the matter is lost in the dim mists of antiquity. Nothing now about it can be proved or disproved, argue as the learned may. Each stoutly held tradition, even if wrong, makes one realise how old this historic England of ours is, for they deal not with places alone, but with real personages who lived in it nearly 1,000 years nearer the birth of Christ than we do to this day. And out of our past, our present grew. And we're still making history. The present will, in its turn, become the past. He does like to sort of state the bleeding obvious, doesn't he? I wonder what our descendants will think of it. Truly, we cannot view our age in the proper perspective. The interesting thing here, of course, is that we are viewing him 100 years hence, which is quite interesting. Time ever casts a halo of romance over the never-returning long ago, so that it may be that generations still unborn will write fondly and speak wistfully of the days as the good old times, as theirs may be less desirable. And that's very true, is it not? I would give something to be able to return to earth a couple of centuries hence, just to see how the old world jogs on then. We have progressed since poor Bruno, who was born too early, suffered death by burning for boldly asserting that the world turns round the sun. 300 years back, a man was burnt at the stake for telling the truth. Today, we scatter the mists that enclose us till the seas are ours and the lands, till the quivering ether knows us and carries out quick commands. From the blaze of the sun's bright glory, we sift each ray of light. We steal from the stars their story across the dark spaces of night. But beyond the bright searchlights of science, out of sight of the window sense, old riddles still bid us defiance, old questions of why and whence. Will the centuries, to come still leave those old, ever-repeated questions unanswered. I have become discursive again. Discursive. Cursive. Discursive. Discursive. What does that mean? Discursive. Discursive. Cursive. I've got to look that one word up. Discursive. Discursive meaning. Let's have a quick look here, see what it says. Discursive. How do you pronounce it?
Discursive.
I can't hear that, actually. Digressing. I thought that was probably what he meant, but I needed to just discursive. Never really heard of the word, but there we are. Right, so where it is, I've lost it. I'm always wandering off the road, but there is something about the quiet countryside that impels introspection. For when all around is so peaceful, one has opportunity to think. Indeed, without distractions, one is bound to think or vegetate, and I prefer to think. From Pusey, we followed, first time for a while, a lane, then a short space of high road, and then a byway. And so we changed from one to another just as they were inclined to a northwesterly direction, for which steered our course as well as we could. But like a sailing ship in adverse winds, we had to do a lot of tacking. In due course, we crossed the youthful Thames at Tadpole Bridge, a pretty spot. So narrow is the stream there that I didn't imagine that it could be the Thames until I had consulted my map, for it was no more like that famous river of lower reaches. It was no more like that famous river of the lower reaches than the child is like the man. I fancy the stream in these parts is too confined and too reedy for comfortable boating, so it is given over to the angler and the artist, and if it abounds in fish as it does in picturesque bits, the former should have a good spot, though the fish be coarse.
Oh, useless. I'll tell you this.
Coarse-sounding fish he is. Now, by the way, I don't know if you're talking to me, but the chat has stopped. So if anyone's actually talking to me, maybe I can refresh it. Can I refresh this? Timestamps, participants. Let me. I'm going to see if this chatter is actually working, because it didn't work very much for me. I'm going to pop it out again, just in case. Let's have a look. So according to this, Mark Burgess is also here, and you have been chatting, and I couldn't see any of it. So that's really bizarre. I don't know why that is. I put it onto live chat. So there we go. Right, okay. So what was that? Tadpole Bridge over the Thames. I want to see if we can find that and see what that looks like. So let's come back here and put a little thing in. Tadpole Bridge. Oh. And here it is. Look at that. Oh, there's a picture up here. There's the picture of the bridge. Let's just have a quick look. Oh, it takes you straight to it. Tadpole Bridge. So that's where he's saying it's not big enough for boaters. I would have thought you could get some sort of boat up there. Look, there are boats. There's a boat, if I'm not correct. And does that say Tadpole? Danger! Danger, Will Robinson. Tadpole Bridge. And look, there's a nice old pub there. What's that called? The Trout. Looks very swish. Tadpole Bridge. So he went over there 100 years ago, and look, you can park up, and presumably, can you go down that lane? I don't know whether you can go down that little lane there. Probably not. Anyway, I don't suppose Tadpole Bridge is on the map, so we won't even bother to look. So then we followed a rather rough by road, that generally ascended through the healthy-looking open stone country, where we happily escaped from the fevered red of brick buildings. Eventually we found ourselves high up in the world, and quite unexpectedly on a well-macadamized and broad high road stretching far away to the right and to the left of us, with low grey stone walls for fences in place of familiar hedges. I wonder if that is the A5. Is it the A5 that goes to Wales? We had manifestly struck upon the main and important thoroughfare, for it had a business look about it, even though at the time deserted by man, and not a vehicle of any kind was in sight, which is what deserted means, of course. He didn't really need to say us. Our map revealed to us that, in fact, this was the old coaching and mail road from London to Gloucester. Oh, London to Gloucester, so that can't be the A5. Must be a different one. A road with a set purpose, which was to reach a faraway destination without dallying on the way. From the little local towns and villages below, it held itself unconcernedly aloof. Not a yard out of its course would it deviate for their convenience. But it does sound like the London to Holyhead road, but it's going to Gloucester, so it can't be the A5, which is what I sort of thought. Now, if you're doing any type, can somebody type in there? Because this is, I'll show you what my screen looks like, and you can tell me if it's the same thing. So here we go. This is the last bit. I've got Jane and Meg saying indeed, and nothing else beyond it. I'm going to type in there, hello, and see if that will... Oh, Julia's done some typing, so there we go. It's obviously... because I just sometimes, in the past... Yep, that's it so far. Brilliant. Okay, thank you very much. Let's have a look. Let's go back out of this. I want to find what that road was, the big straight road that he's referring to, that goes to Gloucester. So there's the M5... Where's the A5 then? I mean, obviously, we're... Oh, sorry, you can't see it. Obviously, we... So, Gloucester's down here somewhere. There it is. Gloucester. Tadpole Bridge. Oh, right, so... Is he talking about this road here? I mean, why would you drive all the way down there? Or he's talking about this one here. He must be talking about the A40. Well, that's true. That would be the London. Yes, that would be the Oxford to Gloucester and then down to what's the name? Now, the A5 that I'm thinking of, because we have the M5, is... Oh, here's the A5. Here it is. Which must have... Oh, there it sweeps down here, the A5. Oh, right, okay. And drops down to London that way, down here. Oh, it goes through Milton Keynes. Didn't realise that. Through Tamworth. And is picked up here through Shrewsbury and then up to up to Holyhead, which is here, of course. Yeah, so he's nowhere near that. He's down at Tadpole Bridge. So let's just stay in that area and... carry on with the story and see where he goes. Mark Burgess has said hello. Hello, Mark. It's nice to see you there. Hope you're well. Right. As the road led along the top of the hills and afforded wide panoramas on either hand over the vast rolling country below, we elected to follow it for a while. The day was hot, and the cool breezes that swept over the uplands were very welcome. I fancy for a time that we enjoyed these fresh and fragrant breezes more even than the spacious scenery. They were as exhilarating as champagne, without the hurt or the cost of it. Some people... Done 2 pages at once there. Some people travel for a change of air. You get plenty of such changes on a motor tour. The erst busy highway seemed strangely deserted as we drove along it. Not a soul did we see or meet for miles, not even a dog, nor the proverbial fowl that always, at the last moment, flies under the wheels of the car. Not so much these days. It might be a pigeon. I have actually run over a pigeon by mistake. I am sorry to tell you that, ladies and gentlemen. The road was originally constructed for through traffic, with no regard for local requirements. And who nowadays makes long journeys by road except motorists? And no motorist was in evidence that day, possibly because the road is not on any favourite touring beat, and possibly because it is not the tourist season. But whatever the cause, we had the highway and the joy of it all to ourselves, you lucky beggars. Now, of course, we have the joy of temporary traffic lights, diversions, cones, accidents, potholes, anything but a nice, pleasant journey all on ourselves, which is a shame. And selfishly, we were not sorry to have it so. Well, I'm not surprised. There is a certain indescribable fascination in being solitary travellers on a lonely road, for there is always an intangible sense of romance about things that tell of man, and yet are deserted by him. A ruined abbey, grey with years, a crumbling castle, graphic reminder of the feudal days, a forsaken manor house going to slow decay. In like manner, appeal to the imagination and possess this unfailing poetic charm. Often I have crossed the ever-charming Cotswold Hills, and never yet have I failed to find, even on the hottest day, a more or less bracing breeze blowing over them. There are the homeless winds, which seem like lost spirits seeking rest and finding none, and when it blows strong, it makes strange, weird, wild music amongst the crevices of the loose stone walls that line the road, and at times like the gust of the wind in the expunged stanza of the Ancient Mariner. It half whistles and half groans. Many of the tunes that most ancient of all musicians, the wild wind, plays, now soft and low, and now hard and strong. But I think I like it best when it sings amongst the woods. I think I like it best when it sings amongst the woods, a song that imitates the sounding sea. And whenever I hear that song, however far inland I may be, I seem to hear the distant waves surging on some rocky shore. The wind is a great companion of the lonely traveller, though he may not always realise the fact. A friend of mine, who lived for long beside a tumbling, splashing mountain stream, told me that when he came to a new abode in a lowland country, for many nights he could not sleep. He so missed the living companionship of the laughing, tumbling water. The quietude of the placid lowlands was absolutely oppressive to him. Such is the companionship of sound, a thing not to be confused with the disturbing noise of town. Yes, quite true, quite true. The disturbing noise of town. Who likes the idea of that? When I come to think of it, after the unfailing topic of the weather, the country folk's favourite subject of conversation is frequently the wind, the way of it, the mood of it, and whether it will bring rain or fine. I don't like to hear the wind talking like that. It bodes nobody any good, exclaimed an aged sexton to me one morning as I was inspecting his village church, when half a gale was blowing around and chattering as it blew. Yes, chattering. Sometimes I look at words and I think, is that the right word that I actually said? Yes. Another man once said to me as the wind howled about his cottage eerily one winter's night, "Oh, I don't like to hear it. When the wind screams like that, it means that some poor sailors are being drowned at sea. Oh, I do wish as how it would stop." On Salisbury Plain, I was told by a shepherd, and what does a shepherd not know about local weather is certainly not worth knowing, that whenever the wind blew steadily from the south for 3 successive days, however fine the weather at the time might be, thunderstorms and heavy rains were sure to come. Then there is the story of the country parson who was requested by one of his farmers' parishioners to pray for rain, upon which the clerk exclaimed, "It bain't no good, sir, to pray for rain when the wind is in its present quarter." In its present quarter?
Oh, no, it ain't no good to do that, you see. 'Cause when the rain is in its pleasant quarter, the rain won't come, see? The rain just won't come. Blow as much as it likes, but the rain has evaporated before it even gets anywhere close to the farm, and the crops are desperately crawling out for water. Water, we need water, please. Give us this.
They were the days, of course, before the geo-engineered clouds and the chemtrails were able to put all those heavy metals in there that the HARP institution up there in Antarctica, wherever it is, could send those radio waves high into the sky and command the clouds to do its bidding. Mostly nefarious things to stop the farmers from actually growing any food, as we may see in the near future. However, I digress somewhat. On Salisbury Plain, I was told by a shepherd, and I've just read that bit, so I won't bother to read that again, because you can't go through that painful bit of bad acting that I did. Then there is the story of the country parson, who was, and I think I've read that bit, wasn't I? Yes, in the present court. A curious use was made of the wind by the monks of old, whose quaint conceit it was occasionally to construct a weathercock provided with huge whistles. I'd love to see the image of a weathercock with huge whistles, which sounded whatever a moderate wind blew, and when the wind blew strong, the music could be heard for far around. One of these ancient weathercocks, said to be 600 years old, still crowns the tower of Otterley St. Mary's Church in Devon. I have been to St. Otterley's Mary's Church in Devon. We're very close to the end of this chapter, by the way. I think it's is it St. Otterley Mary's Church in Devon that I've been to? Oh, it might not be. It might be. Yeah, well, it might be. Hang on, let me have a look. St. Otter. Not Otterley. Ottery. Is it Ottery? Ottery. It is Ottery. Y, yeah. St. Otter. Oh, it's not St. Otter. It's Ottery St. Mary, you fool, Vobes. It's Ottery St. Mary. St. Mary, here we go. Is that the place? Is that where I went to? Oh, wait a minute, I haven't been there. Oh, wait. No, that's huge. I did go to a place, but not, Wigging. No, I haven't been there. That looks nice. Let's just stop it. That's a big place. Let's have a look there. Where is it then? Because I was in. I was in Honington. Not Honington. I was on Dartmoor. Dartmoor. I was there on Dartmoor, which is over here, isn't it? Where's the place I went to? There's a St. Mary's up here somewhere. St. Mary's. I went there. Oh, Mary Tavy. That's where I went. Mary Tavy. There it is. Look, see that? How do I open map? Mary Tavy Recreation Field. Is it Mary Tavy? How do we get open in maps? I thought it was in the maps. Mary Tavy. It's a tiny little Otterley St. Mary. No, you swine. That's not where I wanted to have a look. Bloody thing. Hang on a minute. Mary Tavy is over here. Where was... It's gone. They've just eaten it. Bellstone. The Bellstone Fox is a terrific book. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Peter Tavy, Mary Tavy. Here we are. Mary Tavy. I've been down here. Down this little... Where's all the roads gone? You can't see the roads on... Oh, here it is. Mary Tavy. Let's just bring the little chap down to the church. It's worth having a quick look. Here. See how old and ancient it is? Look at those humble little ancient buildings. Humble ancient buildings there. Whereas down the other end, Bell Lane, I don't recognise any of this. Just a second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to have to go here and have a look in Vobes Mary Tavy. Is this... The police tell me to leave, but I was in Mary Tavy, Devon. I'm gonna leave old Mary Tavy, Devon. I've made a video about it. Oh, it's annoying when you can't find your own video. Is it Bald Explorer, maybe? Sometimes you have to...
I'm off.
The police tell me to... Why am I... Oh, previously, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is Mary Tavy. I'll have to turn the audio off so you don't hear it, because otherwise it's getting annoying. So there's me looking very earnest and intelligent with my eyes shut. And there's me again with my eyes shut. I do a lot of eyes shut business. We go round Mary Tavy. I don't know if you can see any of this. It's a lovely... This is a better bit. Go on, matey. Go on, do your walk. There he is. Handsome chap, isn't he? And look at that lovely old building there. But I go up to the church for a brief walk. That's a nice house. Hang on. There, look at that. And then I do a bit more walking. Well, that was well worth watching, wasn't it? They were in my younger years. When was that? When was that? A year ago, it says there. It was more than a year. It's 2 years ago. Anyway, we're nearly at the end. We'll get to the end. One of these ancient weathercocks, oh yes, is Ottery St Mary's Church in Devon. This has been restored and can be heard whistling merrily there, just as it did ages ago. In fishing villages, these whistling weathercocks served the purpose of acquainting the fishermen during the night time by the volume of sound they gave forth, whether or not the sea would be too rough in the morning for them to go out. And that's the end of that chapter. That was well worth waiting for, was it not? Anyway, there we are, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that your whistling weathercocks have... I enjoy looking at the old videos, says Julia Hartley. Yes, it is quite fun to go back and have a look at some of those old videos. Well, I say that from my point of view because it would be nice to get back into making those old videos again, which actually... as I transition from the 15 months of whatever it is I've been doing on the old channel, will be happening soon. You'll be pleased to know. Because we've done the rabbit hole thing, and it's now time to move on to... Funny enough, the thing that we wanted to do as we were coming to the end of, but we had to go down this rabbit hole business and whatever, make certain contacts, I think, understand what's going on in the world, and very soon we'll be on the land, tilling it, riding horses and keeping pigs. Chickens, bees, and all sorts of things. If the plan goes ahead, which I'm sure it will. Otherwise, we'll be walking around looking for whistling weathercocks, which is always a good thing. I'm going to go and put the kettle on to make sure it whistles. Thanks ever so much for joining me. I hope you've had an enjoyable time in some juncture of this show at some point. In the meantime, take care, look after yourself. Big thanks to Julia for doing the administration on the, whatever you call it when you talk to people. And next time, mediating, I think that's it. Next time, I'll see you soon.